Hey everybody, Tyler again. Last time we worked on the labyrinth system with the baffle and the eyelet and the centering ring. I don't know if you noticed on the labyrinth instructions on number 6 it said to tie the shock cord, which is here, to this eyelet. We didn't do that because we were going to let all this super glue dry. So we're going to do that now. You're going to open up your shock cord and we're going to tie a square knot. You got to get a little bit creative because we only have one rope. You Boy Scouts are going to know this. You usually use 2 ropes to tie a square knot. What we're going to do is we're going to fold, make a loop like this. We're going to put it through the eyelet. Open it up. And then we're going to pull everything through that loop. And then we're going to pull that tight. You're going to want to pull this really tight. This is what's going to hold your parachute on. So if this comes loose, your rocket's going to come down much, much faster than it should without a parachute, which is not safe, and safety is our #1 priority in our rocket launches. So now that we have that tied, we're going to move on to the lower body and fin assembly, which is on the next page. You're going to have your bottom tube, and I've already done this, but these may be filled in for you, and so you're going to want to notch those out. That's where your fins are going to go through, and then you're going to want to clean up the inside. You don't want anything sticking out on the inside. So now we're going to take the end of the shock cord, run it through the bottom of the tube. So we're going to put it through the end with these fin slots in it. Pull it through. And now the motor assembly will be going in to the tube. One thing we're going to do is, remember we have our fin lock system here. That's where the fins go. We're going to have to line the fin locks up with the slots. These are going to be pretty tight, and they should be. Now you can see our centering ring here. We're going to push it past, and see here's our other one, so you need to center that. And you're going to look down into the slot to make sure that the fin locks are visible in your slot. Once we have those fin locks visible through the slots, we're actually going to be putting the fins in. This is going to make sure everything stays in line. When you put the fins in, we're going to apply glue on the bottom edge that sticks out a little bit, on the lower steps, and then we're going to put some along the side here on each side. So we'll do that now. And remember, we sanded this bottom part down earlier, so it'll have a smooth surface to glue on to the fin lock system and onto the motor tubing. So we've got our glue. We're going to put it in the slot here, and this will snap in. You'll be able to hear it. I don't know if you can hear that snap over the camera or not. And you're going to want to make sure that you don't have any gaps here between the fin and the tube. That's how you're going to know that it is snapped in properly. So we're going to repeat that 2 more times. Once we do this, the rocket is going to start looking more like a rocket. No gaps there. One more. this. Don't want to push too hard because you might bend these fins. So the third one is a little bit tricky, but it snapped in. That one didn't make much noise. And so now we've got the bottom of our rocket basically complete. That one did not snap in. Okay, now they're all snapped in. Next, we're going to go to the top. It mentioned this in the instructions. Some people think it's a good idea to put a dab of glue onto the shock cord when you put it on the eyelet to hold it in. That's actually not the case because it needs to stretch. But what we do need to do is we have that centering ring in the middle, and we do need to glue that centering ring to the tube we just inserted in it. This is going to be a little bit tricky. What we're going to do is we're going to basically, you're not going to be able to see this while I do it, but we're going to drop the glue in onto that centering ring. And we're going to try to avoid getting any of it on the shock cord while we do that. Now what I'm going to do, so we make sure that we got a even distribution of the glue here, I'm going to take a dowel you might need a yardstick or something similar. Oh, you got one loose already. And I'm just going to spread that glue around the outside edge. There we go. And I don't know if you can see the glue in there or not, but we've got glue around the entire outside edge. Alright, now we'll go back to the table. And you can see our notch here, that's where our launch lug goes. You're going to have two launch lugs. One will go higher up on the rocket. What these do is we're going to have a rod on the launch pad that sticks straight up, and we'll drop the rocket down onto that rod, and this will ensure that it takes off straight. It's got a notch on the back side of it. It's got a notch on the back side of it. And so what we'll need to do is we'll need to take this notch out using your hobby knife. Be careful. So we just cut out the hole for the launch lug. We have two of these. We're going to set one to the side, one will go higher on the rocket like we had already talked. It's got a slanted edge and a flat edge. Both flat edges will go toward the bottom of the rocket. So it'll go on like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take sandpaper and rough up the back side of this around this protruding piece here. And just a light sand, it doesn't have to, you don't have to take a whole lot off. And then we're also going to take the sandpaper and sand on the rocket body. Rough that up a little bit so the glue has something to stick to. So we're going to take our glue and we're just going to apply it around this little rectangle on the back. Now we're going to take the launch lug and set it into that slot that we just cut out. And we're going to hold it on there for a little while, just so the glue sets up. And then we are done with the bottom of the rocket.